Good afternoon and welcome to Matters Financial and Geopolitical from a Frontier. Thank you for stopping by. The Taiwanese president has left for the United States, warning of threat from overseas forces, saying that the democracy must be defended and the island faced threats from overseas forces in a veiled reference to China. China claims self-ruled and democratic Taiwan as its own and views it as a wayward province, and has called on the United States not to allow Tsai to transit there on her overseas tour. She's spending 4 nights in the United States in total. Unusually long, as normally she spends just a night at a time on transit stops. The State Department has said there's been no change in the US One China policy, under which Washington officially recognizes Beijing and not Taipei while assisting Taiwan. Our democracy has not come easily and is now facing threats and infiltration from overseas forces, she said, without naming any such force. Beijing has regularly sent military aircraft and ships to circle Taiwan on drills in the past few years. Taiwan is what I consider part of the periphery, and in many respects I think that periphery is a tinderbox, and Taiwan is a classic example. And you remember the comments yesterday, quite aggressive ones from Hugh. The Emirati drawdown should set alarm bells ringing in Riyadh. When your comrade in arms decides enough's enough, then it is time to start rethinking what exactly you are doing at the dance. There was a time, and to the Saudi Crown Prince and de facto ruler Mohammed bin Salman, it must now seem a long time ago, that a war against Yemen's Houthi rebels sounded like a very good idea. A quick win using Saudi Arabia's unchallenged air superiority in the north and their ally, the UAE's ground forces in the south, would burnish his reputation as a young warrior prince in the mold of his grandfather and founder of the modern kingdom of Saudi Arabia, Ibn Saud. It would buttress his claim to be the emerging leader of the Arab states. Unlike MBS, the Abu Dhabi Crown Prince had a clear strategy, which he has executed pretty much to perfection, was to ensure and secure the crucial southern port city of Aden, to lay claim to the vital island of Socotra in the Gulf of Aden, and to make common cause with the secessionist forces in the south with a view to splitting Yemen apart into 2 separate countries, as it was prior to 1990. And saying he's achieved all those aims, meanwhile MBS is stuck in a quagmire. The Houthis are a skilled and ruthless opponent. They have remained well entrenched in the capital Sana'a and in their heartland in the north of the country, have exploited Saudi vulnerability to missile and drone attacks, saying the Emirati drawdown should set alarm bells ringing in Riyadh. The Houthis will not be bombed to the negotiating table. That means, I believe, a unilateral cessation of the air campaign with a tight time frame and outside pressure to get the Houthis to the table, this time to stay. November 2017, I was said MBS arrived on the scene and immediately launched an unwinnable war in the Yemen. And he opened 3 fronts. And I said, in all the history books I've read, it's probably wisest to operate on 1 front, not 2, and certainly not 3. A British oil tanker operated by BP exited the Persian Gulf and was sailing off the coast of Oman Thursday after Iranian naval vessels impeded it. British Heritage passed through the Strait of Hormuz, the oil choke point at the mouth of the Gulf, and was sailing along the Omani coast, according to tanker tracking data compiled by Bloomberg. 3 Iranian vessels attempted to impede the passage of a commercial vessel, British Heritage, through the Strait of Hormuz. HMS Montrose was forced to position herself between the Iranian vessels and British Heritage and issue verbal warnings to the Iranian vessels, which then turned away. And I said in May, when I was writing about this, I said the Iranians will surely manage to shutter the Straits of Hormuz, even if after an asymmetric fashion, which this intervention is clearly all about. And then I went back in that same article, I was talking about how the peacock throne got plucked. And here I found a photograph of President and Mrs. Kennedy greeting the Shah and Shah Banu of Iran.